And this is my journey. Welcome to the show. Today, I want to talk about disabilities and how amazing God is. It's incredible how God allows some people to be born with disabilities. Some may view disabilities as a burden, but in reality, they are a testament to God's grace and love. People with disabilities have shown incredible strength and resilience, often inspiring others with their determination to overcome challenges. God's purpose in allowing disabilities may not always be clear, but we can trust in His plan and believe that He has a greater purpose for everyone, regardless of their disabilities or their abilities. Let us celebrate uniqueness and strength of individuals with disabilities and recognize that God's love knows no boundaries. Today, I am so excited. We have an amazing guest. Her name is Daja. She is a young woman that is a woman of faith, a woman of courage, a woman that has confidence, a woman that is bold, a strong minded, strong willed woman of God. I had the privilege of speaking with her, and she has amazed me, and I'm sure she's going to do the same for you. Let her story encourage you. Let her story encourage you, the one that is fearful and feel they can't do something, someone that was born with a physical disability, someone was born with a mental disability. This episode is for you. Let God speak to you through this young lady's testimony, and through her strength, may you find strength, courage, and boldness to continue on your life journey. You see, everyone has some point or some type of thing that they cannot do in life. There's some people that are born, they're short, so they can't jump high, or they can't play basketball, or they're small, and so they may not be make it on the football team, or whatever the case may be. No one is perfect. We all have flaws, but we have to learn to embrace what God has given us. Be happy with the skin that we're in, and move on in our purpose, and grow and learn and love and do all the wonderful things that God has in store for us, and all those things that bring us beautiful things in life. We all have challenges, but God helps us overcome. He gives us the grace to overcome. So let's get right into this conversation with Miss Beautiful Daja. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Broken Masterpieces Restored. I am so excited, guys. We have a beautiful young lady. Her name is Daja Lindsay. She's a beautiful young lady. She's very ambitious. She's a selfless person. She's a fearless person. Whatever she sets her mind to, she does it. And I am so excited to have her on our show today. So, welcome, Daja. How are you today?
I'm good, and thank you for having me.
Amazing, amazing. So, who is Daja Lindsay?
I am a person who likes to defy the odds
Mhm.
in a world where, since I was born, they tried to tear me down. I think I'm very selfless, I'm very ambitious, and I like to get things done by any means necessary.
Wow, I love that. Amen. Very good. So, tell us your story. Tell us your story.
Okay, so my mom, she got pregnant with me at a very, very young age.
Mhm.
The pregnancy started off very normal up until she was between 16 and 20 weeks. They noticed that I had fractures in my entire body. When the doctor noticed that, he told my mom that he thinks it's best that she has an abortion. He said this baby is broken up. If she comes out, she's going to die immediately. And if she doesn't die immediately, then she won't be able to walk. She won't be able to talk. She described me as a potato,
Wow.
a child who couldn't do nothing but sit and watch the other kids play. So my mom went home and she told my aunt, and my aunt told my mom, Tiana, you got to remember, God has the last word.
Mhm.
And that stuck with my mom. So all throughout the pregnancy, even though I had fractures, she still kept believing things would change. The day comes for me to be born, and all the fractures that I had in my body were healed, but my legs came up. My legs were above my head when I was born, and
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with osteogenesis imperfecta. It's a brittle bone disease
Mm-hmm.
that not every child gets, so it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was born, they thought that I was stuck like that. And so they transferred me to another hospital where I stayed for months until I myself let my legs down and they let me
Wow.
go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Growing up was very easy. All the labels that they said I would never be able to do all those things, those actions, I was able to do them.
Defeat the odds.
And so all the odds that were put on me before I was even born, I was already beating those after I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as life went on, I did face challenges with being bullied by other kids because they didn't understand.
Uh-huh.
And at an early age, I made the decision to never let anybody know what I had because I was very insecure. But as I grew up, I realized that my diagnosis was the best thing that ever happened to me. It really was because it defined me in so many ways that I think that if I didn't have it, I would not have had it.
Mm-hmm.
And it built my relationship with God so much because I started to believe in me. I
Mm-hmm.
had to think to myself, like, dang, Deja, if they said all this so early and you're beating it, God's been with you the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you not have faith?
Right.
And then
Right.
it got to the point where I had people telling me, like, oh, you're growing up now, don't have kids. If you have kids, they start putting those same labels on my kids that
Mm-hmm.
they put on me. And I'm the type of person that doesn't take no for an answer. So when I'm determined, I'm determined.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having a little girl
Okay.
who has OI. But I
Mm-hmm.
remember before giving birth to her, literally moments before giving birth, they said, hey, Deja, we're going to transfer you because when you have this baby, she's going to die. And I almost lost my faith,
Mm-hmm.
almost. But
Mm-hmm.
I remembered me. I am the biggest, how should I put it, example of doctors being wrong.
Right.
Because,
Right.
like my auntie said in the beginning, God has the last word.
Mm-hmm.
And He did. And I'm here, and my daughter's here, and she's strong and she's beautiful. So if you're having a hard day or you're going through something in life and you don't feel like you can come out of it, just remember God has the last word.
Very good.
You
Yeah.
just got to have faith and do the works. You do your part, God's going to do his part and he's going to
Amen.
bless you boundlessly.
Amen. Amen. Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to go back because I don't know much of osteogenesis imperfecta, but I've seen like people like on videos and stuff like that, and they're not doing half of what you're doing. Like they're like they have to be carried around or they have to be fed and everything. And to see you walking around as if just like a regular adult, having children, cleaning your house, running your business, on the phone, texting, and it's just amazing. You are a walking, talking miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, I really am. And I get that a lot of times. I was on live yesterday and someone asked me, how come you can walk? God showed out for me. That's why I'd like to say he showed out for me because literally when I say so many people were trying to get my young mom, 'cause my mom was 16 when she got pregnant with me. She didn't know nothing about OI. She wasn't never educated on it. She honestly didn't know what she was getting herself into.
Mhm. So
And
this is
back
not genetic, right? It's not genetic. No one in the
it is
family.
genetic, but
Oh, it is.
she'd never had an interaction with someone that had OI.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she didn't know my dad had it. My dad didn't tell her. Yeah, my dad didn't tell her. But my dad was also very young. And even though he had it, he didn't know the risk of his kids getting it. So he never
Wait.
explained to my mom, like, hey, this is what I have. Our kid might possibly have this. When you're young, you're,
Mhm.
doing what you're doing. You
Mhm.
don't really focus on the future of life. So
So,
yeah, my dad didn't tell my mom.
so your dad, was he walking around like you or?
Yeah, my
Oh,
dad looked like a normal upcoming man, I should say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. To God be the glory. But you could have really turned out the opposite.
Yeah, I really could
So
have.
many.
Thankfully, I didn't.
Oh, wow. Is it a different type or it's all one type? Are they
It's
different types?
so I think there are 23 types. And
Hmm.
when I went to go get genetic testing to find out my type, they just told me I wasn't severe. I was more mild. And so they combined me with type 1 and type 4.
Okay.
But they couldn't give me the exact type
Hmm.
because literally everybody that I meet say the same thing, like you can do so much more. Like it baffles them. So yeah.
Even how you can flick your hair back, like people can't even do that.
Yeah.
Wow. And I've seen small children, big children. I haven't seen any adults, but small and big children is like they can't do anything. And look at you, you're like, and you had two babies.
Yeah, and one of my little girls don't even have it.
Oh yes, yes. Amira, right?
A Miracle has it, Amila doesn't.
Amila, that's it.
Yeah, she doesn't have
Wow.
it. It skipped her. So
And
I've learned over the years that I don't know what gene my dad carries, but it seems to get one child and skip one child. So
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm. Wow, that is amazing. And then you decide to beat the odds and you decide to just, when somebody tells you no, you just still persevere and
Oh
still,
yeah.
that's amazing. That's a beautiful trait to have. So you say
Yeah.
you think that comes from your disability? What did you say? Do you think that comes from?
The where I think the gene itself comes from.
No, where does your tenacity, your ambitious, your don't take no for an answer, your drive come from?
I can honestly say that since growing up, I've always been so independent, but it came from me growing up over the years. Before I was 13, I was fracturing like every month.
Okay.
Every month, my mom was by herself in the hospital with me. And every month, I would see my mom's face. And whenever I would break, I never wanted to tell her because I felt so bad. It broke my heart to see my mom in there by herself, struggling to take care of me and my brother at the time.
Mhm,
And so every time I broke a bone, I always wished I was different.
mhm,
And then as the months kept going and I kept breaking, I kept seeing my mom having to like literally we pretty much lived in the hospitals.
mhm.
I just realized I said, okay, I gotta figure this out. I gotta get some independence.
Right.
So when I turned 13, a doctor approached us and he said, hey, I have this experimental drug called Promigenate. He said, do you want to try it?
Mhm.
I said, is it going to stop me from breaking? He said, I don't know. He said, but there are some severe risks. He said, a risk is if it doesn't stop you, the bones might start coming out of your skin when you start breaking.
Wow.
But I was 13 and I was desperate. And I wanted my mom to have an easier life. I already had that label of a disabled child on her,
Mhm.
but I just wanted her to be able to go out and do things and not have to worry about, oh my God, what if Deja breaks?
Yeah.
Like I remember being at a birthday party once and I was having fun. I was jumping on a jumper. It was my friend's party. And then I broke my leg there and they had to evacuate the jumper. Mama had to come get me. That was an embarrassing moment for me. Cause like I said, I never wanted to tell nobody what I had.
Mhm,
But when people started seeing it, it started affecting me. Cause
mhm,
then I started being looked at differently.
mhm, mhm.
So I did the drug. I did. My mom said no, and I still did it. I don't know why they let me sign as a 13-year-old minor, but I signed and they allowed me to do it.
Mhm.
And 1 month into the drug, I didn't have no fractures. 2 months, I didn't have no fractures. 6 months, no fractures. 1 year, no fractures. It's been 10 years. I have not had a fracture in 10 years. So
Wow.
I think it's just looking at my mom's face and watching her go through living in a hospital with me that really got me like, okay, I want to help her. And as a
Mhm,
child, you want to do everything you can to help your mom.
mhm.
So yeah,
You realize when you take that step, even if you're not sure of the outcome, you take that step, it could be good.
yeah,
Right? That's
there's
like faith.
always a
It could be
chance.
good. Yeah, it's always a chance. So that is so good. So what would you tell somebody, somebody born with a disability, like a child born with a disability? Sometimes they feel like they're defeated, they can't do, or they don't want to do, or they're depressed, or they have things going on, what would you tell somebody that they can be positive and be hopeful?
I would say go watch my story, the full story, because nowhere in this life can another human being put labels on you. You do what you want to do and don't let nobody stop you.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what you have or who you are. If you put your mind to it and you do the works, even if it's just a little goals day by day, eventually you're going to accomplish that big goal. So
Hmm.
don't let nobody stop you. Live your life for you and not for nobody else. Because I had to learn that the hard way, the painful way.
Hmm. So very good, Deja. What would you say to, because you are a parent of a child
Hmm.
now, so now you can speak about that on a parent end. What would you
Hmm.
say to a parent who has been given the news of their child being born with a disability, or even the news of, the child may not even make it? What would you say to the parent to give them hope, to give them some strength and comfort? What would you say?
First thing I'll say is what my aunt told my mom: God got the last word. And the second thing I'll say is, regardless of the disability,
Hmm.
do not put limits on your child.
Hmm.
The best thing my mother did for me growing up was, despite me being so brittle, she never put limits on me. She always told me, Deja, you're just like everybody else. The only
Hmm.
difference is you get hurt faster.
Right.
She still allowed me to go to birthday parties. She still allowed me to attend school events. She did not treat me like my disability. So don't treat your child like that. Let
Hmm.
them feel as normal as they can be, because schools are hard, especially kids.
Hmm.
Kids are unaware and they say things that they don't know might be hurting somebody's feeling.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And also, when you put limits on your child, you can cripple them, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally cripple them, make them worse
Yeah.
off than really what they are, right? Make them feel
Yeah. You
worse.
really can.
Yeah. And then
You
they
really can.
won't succeed or won't even try,
They'll
right?
be scared too.
They'll be scared to
You
try.
want home to be a safe place for your kid to come and talk to you about what they may be going through.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. So tell me what it is. Like, give us a little idea about your life, your day-to-day activities with the girls, and just your regular life.
Life has been a little hectic lately because
Hmm.
I've been like coming up as a social media influencer. One of the main reasons why is because I remember being pregnant with Miracle, and even though I had I still wanted to see other kids who had OI. And so I decided one day I was going to wake up and start recording content with Miracle so that people who are in my position could see, like, hey, she has OI, her daughter has OI, and they are doing,
Yeah,
just
right,
fine.
right.
Yeah, so I started recording. My videos started going viral. I started coming up on TikTok and on Facebook, and now I am doing Zoom meetings teaching moms and young women how to be social media influencers.
Mm.
So life is a little bit hectic. On top of working my 9 to 5, well, technically I work 1 to 10, and I
Okay.
feel like I work every day. But that and my two little girls who are busybodies, yeah. And Mila just learned how to walk, so the house is her playground.
Mhm. So,
Yeah.
Deja, is there anything that you can't do? You can pretty much do everything. Is there something that you can't do?
Ooh, I don't think there's
Yeah,
nothing that I
I love
can't
it.
do. I don't think there's nothing I can't do.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, what would you say to someone? Do you think that, I know you talked about God and that you're a miracle and stuff like that, but do
Mhm.
you really think that um you have a purpose? Do you think
Oh,
God
most
has chosen
definitely.
you? Right. Yeah.
Most
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. So you found your purpose. And do you think you found your purpose in your pain, or what's happened to you, or what do you think?
I think I was born with a purpose.
Hmm.
I really think I was born with a purpose because before I was, doing social media or going through as much as I was going through, I was already attracting people to me.
Hmm.
So I feel like I was truly born with a purpose and I had to figure out what it was.
Right.
And I didn't really realize what it was until up until recently when I started sharing my story.
Mm.
I've always wanted to inspire and motivate since I first told my story in high school. Literally, in high school, I came out. I told everybody what I had, and they accepted me. And that was a big part of my life
Hmm.
because I think if I would have did it any sooner, it may have been a different reaction. I
Probably
think
premature.
timing is
Yes,
everything.
it is. Very good.
Timing is everything. And so since I told my story back then, the reactions that I got and the way I felt so free. I didn't feel like I was being shackled down
Hmm.
by I wouldn't say the, how would I say this? I didn't feel like I was being shackled down by something I was scared to present to people, but I was scared of the reaction of people.
Hmm.
So I really feel like my purpose is to share my story.
Very good. I
I
believe.
really do. I feel like I got blessed boundlessly
Hmm.
just so I could share my testimony.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why you're here.
It
What would you tell somebody to encourage them to share their story, to motivate and encourage others? You know,
right.
you've got all this motivation and encouragement and inspiration. God has truly blessed you in your life and your family and your children. So I'm so glad that your mom didn't abort you. I'm so glad that you
Me too.
listened to your mother, I mean, to your aunt, who had
Yeah.
wisdom at the time. I'm just so thankful. But what would you tell somebody that maybe want to share their story, a little nervous or embarrassed, or don't think anyone else is going through the same thing they are? There's so many disabilities, and it's not even just a disability, but people just are afraid to tell their story of what they've gone through or what they're going through. What would you say to kind of like encourage them to share their story because they don't know who's listening?
It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter who's listening to your story. What matters is that you open up and just tell it.
Hmm.
Because when you tell your story, you get this power in you that starts to heal things that may have been broken.
Hmm.
You start to love yourself just a
Hmm.
little bit more. Life becomes easier. And whatever you're going through at the time, you're not the only one, I promise you. You're not the only one.
Hmm.
So share your story. Be a part of a community that's bigger than you,
Hmm.
and everything will be okay.
Hmm.
Everything will be okay because there's one person out there, at least one, who
Right.
could relate to what you're going through.
Hmm. And when you share your
Yeah.
testimony, you actually help other people, and you don't know what another person
Yeah.
went through, right? Just like if somebody says,
Right.
oh, like if somebody says, "Oh, I wanted to commit suicide, but I didn't," you know, um, God blocked it, or my mother stepped in, or whatever. You never know. Like you could tell somebody that story, and they could be at the brink of jumping off the ledge. You never know, and you can bring them back.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear that all the time that people love watching my stories because I inspire and motivate them. And I'm just glad to be able to do that because that's all I want to
Hmm. Hmm. Same here. That's the same thing I want to do. Motivate and inspire
do.
people to change and do better, right? To heal and motivate.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, Deja, tell us how we can find you on social media, how people can support you, how people can follow you. Um, if you're doing anything, if you wrote any book, I think you wrote a book. So,
Yeah,
just
I
talk about
did.
that. Mm-hmm.
I wrote a ebook to teach people how to become social media influencers because
Mm-hmm.
it's such a big topic right now. Everybody wants to
Right
be an
now, since
influencer.
after COVID, wow, like the thing.
Everybody wants to be an influencer. So I did write a book
Uh-huh.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mainly reached on TikTok. That's what I'm on all the time. My name on TikTok is Luann times three,
Mm-hmm.
Louann
Mm-hmm.
X3. And then my Facebook name, you can reach me there too. I have all my family on there. It's
Mm-hmm.
Deja D Lindsay. But I do have a book and I have been teaching people how to be influencers. I'm not really doing much right now. Every month on the 17th, I host Zoom meetings for moms to just come and ventilate about what they're going through. Because I
Okay.
posted a video of me ventilating and I got a lot of backlash saying that, oh, you're a mom and you're going to go through things. But I just wanted somebody to hear me. I just wanted to be
Right.
heard.
Mm-hmm.
And so on top of the backlash, I also got moms messaging me saying, "Hey, can we set up a group chat or a Zoom meeting where us moms can just go and talk?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do that."
Mm-hmm.
So I started setting up Zoom meetings for moms to just ventilate in a judgment-free zone.
Very
And
good.
that's on my website, livingamiraclex3.com.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
they could actually join in the group through that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Livingamiracle.com. Very, very good. Now, where could they get the book? Where can they purchase the book? Is it on your website or Amazon?
Yeah. It's on my website as well.
It's on your website.
Yeah.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So guys, here you have it. We have Daja Lindsay, an amazing, young, right? 24 years old,
Young.
woman on fire,
23.
23 years old, woman on
Yeah. Don't be
fire.
adding age to me.
23 years old. How tall are you?
I'm 4 foot and 2 inches.
4
Exactly.
foot 2 inch, beautiful 23-year-old African American woman of God. She is ambitious, she's selfless, she's fearless, she's an amazing mother, she's an amazing entrepreneur, she's a motivational speaker, she's a woman of faith. I am so blessed to have come into her presence. She goes by the name Living a Miracle times 3, right? You and
Yeah.
so the 3 is you and your 2 daughters, right?
Yes.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, guys, there you have it. Daja Lindsay. Thank you so much, Daja, for joining
Thank
us
you for having me.
today.